Hello. Yes, we are checking our sounds and then we will jump right in today. Um, Today we're going to be working on our late night campaign. Waiting for everything to catch up. Try to do a bunch of things at once, so things are going a little bit slower than normal today. Awesome. Everything sounds great. Um, all right, and while we wait for Fantasy Grounds to catch up with us, so today we have our handy little notebook to remind us what we're going to be doing. Um, so the main thing we're going to be working on is we have a duo. We have a Tiefling Wild Surge Barbarian and a Wild Magic Barbarian. We have a uh, Minotaur Fighter, Echo Knight, I believe they're called, and their two sidekicks, a Cranium Rat Expert and a Claven Healer, or Spellcaster rather. Um, and so the four of them have been running around Vandalin, doing the different quests for the Dragon of Icespire Peak. This is taking much longer than it normally does, so I'm not sure exactly what's happening. Let me check my interwebs, make sure it's alive and working. Yeah, just looks like it's working a little slower today. I'm going to close down a couple of the other things I've got going on, see if that helps. One thing that's happening is I'm in the process of getting it set up to where I can do Magic the Gathering puzzle quest and stream it. Magic the Gathering Puzzle Quest is a phone app. I do Magic the Gathering Arena every Thursday. You can check it out on the YouTube. There it is. Just took a little while. Like I said, I tried to do too many things at once and it took a while. All right, so here's our stuff. Anyway, so I'm finished my thought with the Magic the Gathering Puzzle Quest. It is one of my favorite all-time games. One of the few. Uh, I am one who loads a new game on the average of once a week. So basically, I'll load up two or three in a couple days, try them out. Typically, I don't play them more than half an hour and then delete them. Um, Sometimes I'll play them for a couple days and then delete them most of the time. Always looking for that next best awesome game that's out there. Um, but I've stuck with Mutants Genetic Warriors or Genetic Gladiators, I believe it's called, um, and Magic the Gathering for the longest. Those are the two that I play and have played for the longest amount of time. Both of them, Mutants Genetic Gladiators, longer than than any other one. It's probably going on 6 to 8 years. Uh, Magic the Gathering Puzzle Quest is probably closer to 3 or 4. But I like those games a lot. I like them a lot. Play them almost daily. Um, and I'm going to take a look here. And then Infinitode, it's infinite, but instead of with the E on the end, or infinity without the Y, ODE. 2 is really good as well. It's a tower defense game. My favorite of all time is Desktop Defenders, which doesn't exist anymore. But Infinitode 1 and 2 are by far the best as far as tower defense games, in my opinion. Anyway, so those three games I like a lot and play all the time. So Magic the Gathering Puzzle Quest, I'm going to be streaming, and you guys can get to enjoy that with me as well, and see how that's played, and see how it differs from the card game and from the Magic the Gathering Arena. Um, so getting back to what we were talking about here, now that we're locked and loaded, um, we're going to be looking at so our pair of adventurers with their sidekicks are heading back to Phandalin. Let me pull up the map here so you can see. So this is where they are. The party right here. They had taken a side quest, or not side quest, but a rabbit trail, I guess, literally. Excuse me, to run down and search out a temple. And there were dozen orcs and two ogres that they ended up fighting pretty much all at the same time. So they did that. They found a couple cool things, and now they're heading back to Phandalin. When they get back to Phandalin, they said they were going to be looking for the healer. Well, the healer is one of the first quests, and I actually took it away from them because they didn't do it. So, which one is this? Oh, okay, I know what that one is. So I took that away. Um, so now that they're actually going to do it, I'm going to tweak it, change it, and that's what we're going to be doing today. I also wanted to look at a couple other things real quick to see how much work I have left to do on those. One was the calendar. So again, the calendar is accessed up here in the corner where the comet tracker is. Open it up. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. So it looks like I have some dates here. Flipping over to my notebook. Broken Mold Live. Hey, I appreciate you. Thank you very much. I hope your day's going well as you're working. Feel free. You mentioned a couple times that you're just grabbed Fantasy Grounds Unity, so I know you're gonna have a blast. Um, don't get. I don't know how easily you get frustrated, but if you are, stick with it because it's definitely worth it. Um, don't let your players bring you down. Keep being that DM that you know you can be because it's a lot of fun. It is awesome. Um, when I first started with Fantasy Grounds, it was me and two other people. Um, and I was the only one who really liked Fantasy Grounds. But now I play, I want to say, with, so let's see, I've now gotten to the point to where Mondays I play every other week in a Dragonlance campaign on Fantasy Grounds as a player. On Tuesday nights, I am a player, and then at 8:30, I run a campaign for one of my big group on Wednesday. Two of them split off. One of them split off, and one of them joined him. So I have a smaller campaign at 8:30 on Tuesday nights. So that's 3 games. And then Wednesdays, I have my main D&D campaign. It's been running forever, homebrew type thing. And then I also have a late night campaign. Um, so that's 5 games. I stream both of those Wednesday night ones. Thursday is date night, so I don't do anything. Friday, I'm a player, and Saturday, I'm a player. Both of them D&D games, and then Sunday, Starfinder, I'm a dungeon master. So or Game Master rather. So I now play 8 different games. And if you want to get technical, my Sunday Starfinder game is actually swaps every other week. So 2 different campaigns. And my Wednesday nights, every second Wednesday of the month, we change it up with another campaign. So there's actually 10 different campaigns I either run or am players in with Fantasy Grounds now. And I was even invited to another one, and there's been twice now that where I've had to turn down games because I was already busy. So it's definitely doable, um, and it is so much fun, and I enjoy it. I love it. I like it. I love it. I want more of it. So hang in there. You will get past the learning curve and really get to enjoy the game. So we're looking at our calendar. Look at the calendar. Check our languages. Oh, that's what that is. Okay, so we're going to do that right now. Actually, no, I'm just going to wait. I don't want to disrupt the game. I use a lot of extensions. I was very hesitant, and I still am nowhere near holding the record of the number of extensions people use. But over time, I slowly picked one, made sure it worked, picked another one. My thought was, if it works, if it's not broken, why fix it? Well, in this particular case, with some of these extensions, it makes life so much simpler, so much better. So um, that's why I use extensions and a lot of mods as well, modules. Um, anyway, so languages, that's what that is. I'm gonna do that, add languages, mod. Okay, so that's our goal today, is to look at the calendar and then get this encounter set up for them when they're running through, check out the healer. So first of all, we'll go here, see where we started. This should be good. All right, so we're going to go here. If we go down here to view log entry, you can see the one that's highlighted, or you go over here to all logs, and you can see all the different logs that are set up. Let me go to today, 22nd. Head to a family with the goods from the blacksmith. After a long, boring ride, they decide to camp. Okay, so what? Oh, that's the 15th. 22nd. Okay, good. So it looks like we are caught up with the calendar up until just now. So let me make sure the day before is correct. Oh, okay, so I didn't fill in any of the details. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to throw up a couple different days at once. Double clicking the date pulls it up. Or you can do what I did before, which is all logs. All right, came back to Finland, so don't really have to worry about a time for that. So the 20th, really don't need times for this one either, so we're just going to leave that one. 21st. All right, so they get to Butterskull Ranch. They got there. It took them about a couple more hours. Let's see here. So the 21st. So I'm trying to do mental math. So each one of these hexes is, if you look at the map, where is the key? Up there. Yeah, one hex is 5 miles. Do I have this set up correctly? I do not. Okay, so you can set this up. First of all, do I even have a grid on this? If you look here at grid, this is squares. Okay, so we need to match this up with what they have, which is, looks like this kind. Let's see it. All right, so what I'm doing here is I'm lining up the grid to the map, and then I can change the distance to 1 hex equals 5 miles. And why is that important? Because I can then click and drag and gauge the distance right there on the map. So you can see the grid is too small. Let's move it out into the water. We'll leave it here. So you can see the grid's too small. So we want to bump this up to, let's try 60. Keep the grid aspect lock. We're getting warmer. We're getting warmer. Let's try 65. That might be it. So now we nudge it to where it lines up. And then down. And then we zoom out and see if it matches up all throughout the map. So it's off just a smidge here. So we're probably looking at, let's see, is it bigger or smaller? It looks like it's smaller. So let's go 65.5. Line it back up. We'll zoom out and see if it lines up over here. It does not. All right, so let's try 65.2. Normally, you don't have to mess with this. Normally, this is set up a little bit so that you don't have this issue. But that's okay. We'll tweak it. All right. Wait, it did not change. Delete 2. There we go. There we go. Looks like we found our magic number. Yes. Okay, so now that our grid is lined up, you can then change distance multiplier is 5. You do want it 5, but instead of suffix we want is it a thing or do I type it? Couldn't remember if it was a drop down or if it was a something you type. So we then make the grid go away. 5 miles. So what we've done is we then go back to play and we close this by closing the lockup here. So I can sit there and say, gee, they're in Fandolin and they're going to go up here and they're going to go down here. How long is that? You start at Fandolin, hold down both mouse, left and right mouse, and drag. And to here is 10 miles. And as the crow flies, Neverwinter is hold down Control if you want to be specific. No, Shift. It is, oh, should be Control. That's weird. Anyway, so the 60 miles as the crow flies. So anyway, getting back to what we're doing. So it's 5 miles from here to there, from Coneyberry to the Butterskull Ranch. And we'll move this down here where it should be. So we're going to go ahead and say that they got, so we're going to work backwards. So I said that they arrived at 5 o'clock at the shrine on the 21st. So it takes, they're traveling at about 4 miles an hour, 3.5, 4 miles an hour, if I remember correctly, with my traveling guide. Let's go to our DM's crib sheet and check it out. Ooh, this is not going to work. It's awesome looking, but very difficult to read. So this is a theme I'm using called Industrial. All right, so I'm going to switch this out real quick. This will also give me a moment to go ahead and change turn on the languages that I want. I have a little mini extension that a friend of mine uses, load campaign, late night. So you go down here to extensions, and then the one I want is official languages, extended languages. There we go, extended languages. And then I get rid of the industrial theme. I was using the regular one. I'm just going to go with the D&D official. The official D&D theme, and let's just go with that one. Why the world not, you know? No need to be all weird and fancy. While this is loading, I'm going to grab a drink, so I'll be RB. Give me just a moment. Don't go away. All right, so the storyline is the healer is in her windmill and is being harassed by Manticore and is unable to leave. Sees the herbalist of Phandalin and makes their potions so no one can have potions, and they're afraid that she's going to get hurt by the dragon. So they want her brought back to the town. Well, Manticore is set for a level 1 party. So my thought was I could have a couple Manticore, um, but doesn't really make sense why they would harass a single person. So I'm thinking maybe a Chimera. Look up the Chimera, see what, so we can do that while we wait. I was just going to look it up in the fancy grounds, but since it's taking its time, we can go to the interwebs and check it out. So let's see Chimera 5e, see what CR it is. Oh, here we go. Never mind. All right, so now we go to NPCs and we type in Chimera. The other thing I'm doing is I'm also going to look and see if I have different types of Manticore. Maybe I'll just use a higher level Manticore. As you can see, for example, I have Ancient, Regular, and Elite Chimeras. So this is a CR6, an Acme Chimera. All right, so let's go to Manticore. There you go. See, I have a lot of different Manticores, so I'll probably just use one of these. So let's see, the regular Manticore, it's challenge rating 3. Manticore Alpha, it's challenge rating 7. Skirmisher is challenge rating 5. Stalker, challenge rating 4. And Elite, challenge rating 5. So I'm leaning toward this 7. Definitely don't want the Stalker, it's only a 4. So let's see what the difference is with the Skirmisher and the Elite. So the Skirmisher is light-footed, can take the dash or disengage action as a bonus action. Okay. This would be insane against this group because they are in your face. Gains advantage on its first attack roll this turn if it has moved at least 15 feet from the space it's at the beginning of the turn. So basically, it runs around. So the Elite one has a spike volley. Manticore takes a tail spike attack against any number of creatures within 10 feet of a point you can see within 100 feet. Within 10 feet of a point. Okay, so it's basically a 10-foot radius. Attacks them all at once. Okay. Well, now this guy is a commanding roar. It's his difference. All right. Well, so the 7 I think might be pushing it a little too much. My guys are level 3. So I'm going to go with this one. It's going to mean a longer fight. The Skirmisher is going to mean a longer fight because anytime, keep in mind as a dungeon master or a game master, with pretty much any RPG game, if you have one monster against your party, the CR needs to be a little higher because typically you have 3 to 5, 6, 7 players ganging up on this one monster and just thrashing it, doing a bunch of damage. It might be able to deal out a lot of damage, but at most it's attacking 1, maybe 2. That's why your dragons and your liches and things have legendary actions, and they have all these things that they can do on other people's turns to sort of even that out. With this skirmisher, he can move around. He can run away. So it's going to make my two guys, are a barbarian and a fighter. They are in your face, hand to hand. So this guy running around like this is going to be outside. It's going to make it a little bit of a challenge. So that's cool. It's going to make a longer fight. If they were just standing toe to toe, they would just be dealing out a bunch of damage because till he's dead. But this way, I like it overall. Manticore Skirmisher. And by the way, if you're wondering what book that's from, the Manticore Skirmisher is from the expanded monster manual. I'm going to check my library, make sure I see what other books I have open. So typically I don't need a lot of books for this one because I'm using the Dragon Device Fire Peak. I'm not going to worry about that right now. So let's go to the story. Now we know what monster we're going to use. Let's go back to our story and check out and see what the original story was for this lady. Let's see, we'll go here, back to our crib sheet. There we go. See, now it's not clear. All right, so I need to go address, grab my dog. 30 seconds. Sorry, guys. All right, luckily it doesn't happen very often. Appreciate your patience and hanging out with me. All right, so we're taking a look here. The crib sheet, this comes in Dragon Device Fire Peak, makes it really nice. So here are the quests. And the first one is starting quests. And the one we're looking at is the Umbrage Hill. Okay, so that's what it's called. Okay. So let's, here we go. So you guys can see what it says. The midwife. Lives in a windmill. They don't want her to be alone, so they wanted you to go get her. And I'm going to give you 25 gold. And my, oops, skirmisher, there we go. So we're going to minimize him, right click, minimize. That makes a little circle. You can put him up here. So now I can just open it with a click. So we go to story, we go to Umbrage. All right, so here's our, what is that? Okay. So we have the DM map and we have our battle map. Okay, so we can close out the stories. So we're going to take a quick read through it. It says, Umbrage, two feuding dwarves clans fought a battle on top of this hill. That's why it's named Umbrage. The cause of their umbrage is a tale lost to time. Only the cairns are still there. No one else cairns. Get it? Get it? See what I did there? Adabra Gwyn with midwife and apothecary. To Shantae, goddess of agriculture, resides here. The Manticore is driven out of the mountains. A large winged monster with a spiky tail is trying to knock down the windmill's front door. And a woman at the second floor window waves at you and yells, "A little help!" Alright, so it does talk and can be talked to. And then she'll give her a potion of healing. She won't go back to Phandalin with them, but she'll give him a note saying she's okay. Alright, so we're looking at the map that they give you for the DM. Let's make it a little bit bigger and check out and see what's going on. We have the second floor of the windmill. We have Dwarven Cairns. Third floor. One of the neat things about the Dragon Device Fire Peak is that it has these things called treasure cards. So you have the quest card, you have the treasure card, and this is if you buy the physical set of the expansion pack. I mean, it's a box set, and if you buy the box, it comes with these physical cards, and you can hand them to the players. Here's your potion of healing, and it's true with any magic item that they have. There's little cards like this that you can hand out. Makes it really nice. Something physical that they can mess with and also see. All right, so here's the second floor. It's the same link, okay? All right, so the ruins of a house. Fireplace is all that remains. And a windmill. All right, so these are all the same link. Okay, so I'm not sure why they linked it 3 times, but I guess to show you that there wasn't anything. Like my pun counter? Yes. So I should disclose that that's only since last week. It's been up for less than a week. So if you go through my videos, you'll see there's at least 2 or 3 per video. And if you look at my late night videos, D&D in the Sven Zone is what it's called. There are tons of them because my son and my brother, especially my son, also loves making the puns. My Wednesday night group, I have one lady there. She likes making puns as well. Anyway, so the number is actually really a lot higher, but we'll move on. I might put the date in there so that it'll be clear. All right, so now we have an idea what we're looking at. We've got a 3-story windmill, we have ruins, we have the cairns, which won't matter. So now let's take a look at the map. So an easy way to do this, there's not a lot of detail on here, so that's probably why it's so small. But an easy way to do this is to bring the map to the size you want. In this case, we want about this big, so I'm looking at it. Click on your toolbar up here, and then click right here. It says zoom to fit. Players can do this as well now. Boom. Now, it's really dark. Why is it so dark? Because the mask is on, line of sight is on, so we want to go ahead and go to unlock it. And we go to turn off line of sight. So now we can see. I'm going to click on line of sight real quick just to see, yep, everything. So the terrain, the green terrain simply means that they can't see beyond it until you get to that point. There's also a wall here. Looks like they forgot this wall. All right, and so the way this map, so I guess if you have an encounter up here, this is oddly done. Looks like they forgot one side here. I don't, so there's line of sight drawn here as well, so that players won't see this unless they're actually up there. There's also no line of sight drawn on these ruins or the wall. So we're just going to say this is a fence, like a wooden fence, so you can see through it just fine. Yeah, we'll just say that's a fence. Hopefully the players won't find it too offensive. All right, so that gives you an idea of how it's set up. These are arrow slits. So I think they just blocked them off because a windmill shouldn't really have arrow slits. Maybe they're supposed to be windows or something. I don't know. The point is, you're not going to be inside the windmill that much, so I'm not really going to worry about it. You can actually portion these off. I have a video last week, I believe, maybe the week before, where I was doing exactly that. They were going through a fortified tower that has arrow slits, so you can put your line of sight, and it makes it really nice because you can click on the monster inside and see exactly what line of sight he has. So when the players are in his line of sight, he can hit them, but when he's not, they can't, vice versa. So the players have to be in this particular spot to see them inside. They still have cover, but at least they can be seen. Things like that. So I'm fine. I'm satisfied. This is not perfect by any means. Like I said, there's missing some line of sight up here. And there's no door here. But that's okay. It's close enough for what we want. So we'll go back to the play. The only thing I don't like about this right now is the grid. The grid is way too strong. So we go grid. We then go to color. So we could just turn it down here with the opacity. Bring it down so it's much more bearable. So if we turn it all the way off, by the way, you see the grid already, the map already has a grid. But what I'm actually going to do is just override it a little bit and just make it green. So here's our green grid. The green grid of home. All right, so turn it down, turn it down, turn it down, turn it up, turn it up. So now when you zoom in, it's actually a little green grid on top of a gray grid, but that's all right. Let's see. There we go. So it's not overpowering. Click OK. Back to our play. Close this up. We're done with this. All right, so now let's see where they put the... So they have all these links to the story, but they don't have the link to the actual fight. on this map. So let's see if it's in the DM's map. It is not. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and so we definitely want to link it. So here's the encounter. So we have a Bar Gwyn, a Dabra Grin, and the Manticore. So we're going to be using our own Manticore. And I'm going to pin it to both maps just in case. And the other thing I'm doing is I'm going to go ahead and all right, the courtyard is to what? Okay, that's that one. So I don't need this story anymore. We're going to kill this one. We're going to put this location overview down here. Click and drag it and then just let go. Boom. And now you have your link to it so you can jump at it on it anytime you want. We're going to unlock this. This allows you to now edit the list and you can delete. Open up my Manticore, drag it from the dragon. Boom. Recheck it. It is now a CR6 for 1810. Close it. So you notice I forgot to check where they had placed him, but it says he's banging at the door. So we're just going to go ahead and where it says placement, you drag this token. If you drag this token, it will show up, but it won't mean anything. So you want to drag it where it says placement. We're going to stick him by the door. So it looks like he is a large creature. We'll zoom in, put him here. Actually, yeah, that's fine. Now we close it. He goes away. Close this. We don't need that anymore. So now we take our encounter and you just drag it, bink, and now it's actually on. Oops, hold on a second. Oh, it says location overview. So I'm going to change this. Keep the number. I'm going to change it to Umbrage Fight. And now it says Umbrage Fight. It's been updated there as well. And now I'm going to take it and put it here as well. Umbrage Fight. So now I have it linked. I can easily find it and grab it. I'm also going to grab the link to the. Well, I'm going to open this up. So what happens is if I share this right now, it is ID'd. So they get the actual name of the beast, Manticore Skirmisher. I don't want them to know right away what it is. So this calls it a large winged monster with a spiky tail. So we're going to say winged spiky monster. And then we're going to click on this to where it's not identified. We're going to drag the picture over here so they can see it. And I'm going to also put it in the story. And it says winged spiky monster. So when you share it with them, all they will see instead of Manticore Skirmisher, it'll say winged spiky monster. If they then identify it, I can then click this and it'll say Manticore Skirmisher. All right, so I have my image here and I have my image here. So basically they're going to come here, they're going to fight the Manticore, and it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out. This is the DM's version. I actually want the player version. Wrong map. Battle map. Here we go. Boom. So this is the player's version. Let's throw the image of the skirmisher on here as well. Boink. So now I have the Manticore skirmisher. Peak shore. Come on. Goodbye. Goodbye. All right, so we are all set. So they're going to be moving back. They're going to be heading to Phandalin. They're going to be talking to her afterwards and stuff. So I've got enough for my 2-hour session right now with this quest and this thing. There we go. So we're all set. We're ready to go. I'm going to go to. So I have a table that I made myself. If you go to tables here on the side, spells, tables, these aren't in alphabetical order. I don't like that. All right, so I'm going to switch this real quick. Go here to settings, options rather. Go to sidebar, turn them clear, click, and now I'm putting them in alphabetical order. So characters and then classes, then encounters and feats, images and items, notes, NPCs, parcels, and then the rest is correct. Quest, race, skill, story, and tables. Okay. Is this important? No, but I like them in alphabetical order. All right, so anyway, in my tables, you can make a brand new table, and it's actually very easy to do if you ever want to roll something randomly. I had a character who had a magical weapon that was a magical ring loop that he wore on his belt. That was a small handle, and when he pulled the handle out of the loop, it transformed into a weapon, which he was proficient with automatically. Didn't have any other magical properties. I think it was a +1. Beyond that, it was just a +1 weapon, but it was everything. There was everything. I had 100 different weapons that could appear when he pulled it out. So I made a table for that. So every time he pulls it out, you just click the table and it rolls. One of which is my NPC voices. I have 100. It's a table of 100, although I don't have all 100 yet. NPC. Interesting. I don't know how long it's been in my BRB screen. Hopefully it wasn't too long. I had to check that out and see. So I have my BRB screen set up in a hotkey, so sometimes I hit the button by accident. All right, so I'll have to check that out in a minute. Anyway, so I was talking about tables, and so I have a bunch of different NPC things. So mannerisms, quirks, talents, voices is one I made. So these quirks and talents and mannerisms, ideals, all these things are from the Dungeon Master's Guide. So if you have the Dungeon Master Guide, you have access to all these appearance, alignment, bonds. So let's go here to appearance, and then get my voices one. So my voices one is one I made, and when you open it, when you unlock it, there you go. You can fill this in. So if you make a new table, just right click, create the item, and this is what it looks like. And you can put in any numbers you want. So if you want there to be a 10% chance of something, you can go 1 tab 10, 1 to 10, and then say you're using an 11-sided dice. 11 and 12 is this. Type in hello, or they might say greetings because they're uptight and dorks. Type in anything you want. Up here, it's automatically adjusts to whatever you say it is, and this does not have to be normal. I have a bunch of tables that are 52 because they use a deck of cards. They're built from a deck of cards. So and it'll just be 1 to 52, or you can also put whatever you want up here. So I could actually make it be a 12-sider, or I can make it be a 20-sider. 1 to 12 to 20 plus 12. Right click to clear it. I could make it a 20-sider, and it'll roll whatever you tell it to do. So and you can also change the output, so it can be in chat, in a story. It'll make a new story entry from the result. Parcel, so you can, if you, lots of treasure tables, so you can see all these here are treasure tables. You can make it into a parcel directly, or you can make it an encounter. You can put links to monsters right here. So tables can also be, you can have tables within other tables. So you can have uh, the the treasure tables are a good example of that. So you can say from the 25% chance that there's an art object that's worth 50 gold or less. And then there's a 10% chance that there's a art object that's worth 100 gold or less. And so you can then link your table of art objects that are worth 100 and art objects that are worth 500. So you can link them right there in the table, and what will happen is it'll roll, and if it determines it's the art objects of 100 gold each, it'll roll on that table as well. So, and you can keep putting tables within tables within tables as much as you want. If you're curious about tables, if you have questions, I can definitely go over those in detail. Let me know what type of table you want and what type of table you're thinking of. There's also a lot of really good examples already here. So look around, dig into your tables. Something a lot of people I find don't use enough. There's weather tables. I mean, there's tons of different tables. Everything in that whole section of randomness within the Dungeon Master's Guide, that whole chapter on running random stuff, it's all here. And you can go through doing a whole dungeon. Everything from why is it there, who built it, what was it originally for. All these things are here in the DMG. And I've done it before. It's not as smooth as the solo adventures that are written. you have to, the way I did it is I had the DMG there, and physical DMG, I was looking through it and then find the table I want and roll it. But it can be done. Point is, tables are awesome. I love them. Name it. Test. Description. Test for stream. There's my table. We're done. Boom. So now I go to test. Delete it. All right. Anyway, I say all that to say I want to give some details to Adabra, and I can do it on the fly. It's a nice thing. That's why I have this linked. I just click this, and it just gives me um, a voice if I don't roll too high. So I need to change this. I rolled 87% twice on a percentile table. That's crazy. So I personally, on this list, I left some blanks. I go up to 81. Anyway, I want to have some details for her. I also pulled out my appearance and quirks. So let's roll here and roll here. Smells like expensive cologne and is exceptionally ugly. All right, so right here, I'm going to add to the storyline. Enter, enter. Adabra is exceptionally homely. Wears expensive perfume. Speaks like Bikini Ninja from Gong Bao. So the Bikini Ninja from Gong Bao is sort of like he's wearing this black outfit, and then Kung Pao comes up and attacks him and destroys his clothes until it's just a bikini. He's this huge, big, buff guy who has a tiny, tiny voice. He talks like this. So, with a lisp, so, sort of like a take off of Mike Tyson, but even more extreme. So I'm gonna. I also want to find a little picture of her. May as well. Let's see if we can go to our assets and see what type of images we have. Let's just say woman. Okay. Let's say human. Because there's no point in adding to ones if I already have one. Okay, I don't see anything here. I'm pretty sure I have one in my data. So let's go to we'll go up, data. Come on, come on, come on. Open up, open up. Got a lot of stuff in here, so that's why it takes a couple minutes. All right, so let's take a look and see what we have in our images. We have a drow noble. couple of them. We have a female furbolg, some dwarfs. She's a forlorn commoner. It's definitely not exceptionally ugly, though. Let's see, a bigger boy. With a knife. Just looking through, looking for our woman. We have a couple dudes. Waiting for it to load. Another guy. Here we go. That's one of them. That might work. I like this idea a lot. I'm thinking we're gonna go with her. We're at the end. Yep. All right, so we create the image record. So there we go. That is our Anabra. So we go here, we change it to Anabra Gwyn. Make it unidentified so it shows up as that when they look at it. There she is. Okay, so, and then we'll throw her here. Boom. I'm also going to pull up the map, the battle map. And put her picture here. There we go. All right, so what we've done is we have everything set up for our fight. We are caught up with the... Did we finish the calendar? Oh, we didn't finish the calendars. Let's do that real quick. Finish up the calendar. Got distracted and did not finish that. So what happened to my calendar? Why isn't my calendar here? Uktar. Oh, here it is. Wow. Okay. All right. So what we were doing before, so I could, the whole point was to try to figure out time frame, build the time frame so we could fill in the calendar. So we had, they arrived at 1700 at the shrine. It took, the shrine itself was about an hour and a half below Coneyberry. So working back, it is 1530. Leave Coneyberry. Heading south along the trail. They didn't spend very long, so about 1515. I'll say 1510. Arrived in Coneyberry. So it is about an hour and a half to the Butterskull Ranch. So it would have been 1340. Leave the Butterskull Ranch. All right, so they out rested for an hour. They searched. They talked to the dude, the owner of the Butterskull Ranch. They ate with him. So I'm going to say they were there for about 3 hours. So we'll say, make it, so that would be 10:40. They arrived there. So we'll say 10:30. They arrive at the Butterskull Ranch. Search through smoking remains of the outlying buildings. Fought the orcs and rescued BAC, Big Al. Rescued Big Al. So which means they left. They woke up. So they're an hour and a half from Coneyberry. So a 09. So they pass through Coneyberry at 8:45. All right, so there we go. There's our timeline for the 21st. The 22nd, 0630, they attack the orcs in a courtyard. So they fought them in just a matter of minutes. They searched, so I'm going to say it took about an hour to search. So at 7:30, they're going to leave. And then they took an hour rest. So we'll make it 8:30. Let's make it 8:45 just because. They head back to Coneyberry and Vandalin. Or is it Vandelver? I keep getting the two mixed up. Vandalin, all right, I was right. Okay, and they are going to... So now let's check our last thing I want to do is check the message of the day, see if that's updated. So nothing is in here at all. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'll leave this blank for now. What I typically do for my other games and such is I put a recap of what happened last time with a map or pictures. So like in this case, I'm gonna put the picture of the orcs and the ogres that they fought, uh, the map of the temple that they found, um, as a reminder. Um, so yeah, why not? Uh, it's a little bit more work, but that's okay. It'll work. Works for me. And then we'll put the overall map of the where they are as well. So don't think it'll work. So we'll start with here. Let's go to our make our work easier for ourselves by opening up this one. Oh, there's no real details in that one. All right, so um, so the party came upon the abandoned shrine to find it was not abandoned, but was full of orcs and a couple ogres. So now we're going to go ahead and put the pictures. What is this? Okay, I don't need that there. All right, do I have the link to the player map? I don't. So let's go back till we find it. Here it is, battle map shrine. Dun, dun, dun. So again, we're going to zoom in. I will go ahead and take off the line of sight so they can see the whole thing. We will drop this in here. Boom. I will go ahead and throw in a couple images just in case, because it's easy to do. Orc. Wow, lots of orcs. Okay, here we go. Orc. Just Dragon of Aspire Peak. Blink, it's what we want. And then I have Ogre. Dragon of Aspire Peak. And that's it. So that's where, let's go ahead and Control 1, get you away from the link and back at to normal text. And we'll say, after a hard pressed battle, they have searched the shrine and we're discussing returning to Phandalin and talking to the healer. last thing we'll do is we'll put the map of the Sword Coast. Boink, there you go. So now the way the message of the day works is when they log in, that pops up in the center of the screen, and they have to close it to get out of it. So they will at least see it. They don't have to read it. They don't have to click on it, but at least they have this. All right, so we've updated our calendar today. We looked at the story, and we've upgraded the monster to a more appropriate level for them. We added some details to the NPC, including a picture. We talked about messing around with tables for a little bit. So tomorrow I'll be doing Starfinder prep. So same thing, but with Starfinder RPG. A little bit later today, I'm going to be messing around with if I can get my Magic the Gathering gems to work, Puzzle Quest, my Magic the Gathering Puzzle Quest game to work on my PC instead of just my phone. Then I'll be streaming that for a little bit. And then tomorrow night, this is the second Wednesday, so we won't have live play D&D. A couple of my players aren't comfortable streaming, but 10 o'clock tomorrow night, Wednesday night, there will be a live stream. One of my favorites, D&D in the Sven Zones, my brother and my son, 10 o'clock to midnight. I know it's late, so hey, check it out here on. It would help if I did it in the right chat. Where's my cursor? Here it is. Check it out here on YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, you already know about my YouTube channel. Look at my playlist, D&D in the Spend Zone. It's awesome. You'll love it. You'll laugh. You'll cry. Maybe not cry, but you'll laugh, if nothing else. Leave comments, like, subscribe. Thank you so much, Broken Mold Live, if you're still around. I appreciate you very much. You guys enjoy the rest of your day.